Hello, everyone. So, in the last three episodes, we've laid out the charting of this book, this New York Times all-time bestseller. From this episode on, we'll dive deep into the meat of this book. So, first, let's talk about the 4 stages of becoming a millionaire real estate investor. Number one, for this episode, we're going to focus on the first stage, which is think a million. So, wealth building is a spiritual journey, believe it or not. The Bible has more than 2,000 references to money, property, and wealth, which is more than twice the number of references to faith and prayer combined. No matter what your personal faith is, spirituality, and money are always connected. Money, what you do to acquire it, how you hold on to it, and what you do with it. It all reflects your innermost values. Isn't that right? Think about it. And then this book walks us through the 7 ways that millionaire real estate investors think. First, they think powered by a big why. Most high achievers are driven by a compelling personal reason to achieve high. In the many interviews that they have conducted with the high achievers, they found their motivation arise from a desire to be free from their jobs, have more choices in their lives, achieve self-actualization, and gain security that comes with abundance. Second, they think big goals, big models, and big habits. Without big goals, big models, and big habits, big thinking may be wishful thinking only. One thing to note is there are countless big thinkers that have lived before us. Trails have been blazed and paths have been cleared. What we should definitely be learning from these proven methods, instead of reinventing the wheels, which will be a monumental waste of time. And life is too short to move slowly. Further than that, the book shares an investing survey conducted in 2001 by the Federal Reserve, which shows that the people who rent have a net worth of less than 5,000, whereas the typical homeowner has a net worth of about 175,000. Well, fast forward 18 years from now, the numbers might change, but you can see the difference, right? So try to follow the millionaire real estate investors. You will find your day-to-day activities to begin to mirror those of high achievers. Over time, you'll find these models to have become your habits that power you through the day. Remember this statement. The second half of a man's life is made up of nothing but the habits that he has acquired during the first half. So again, big goals, the specific measurable targets that fulfill your big why. Big models, the proven systems and strategies for reaching your big goals. Big habits, the consistent actions and right choices that come from following big models. Now let's talk about number 3. Think that money matters. We all have a fundamental choice in our financial lives, the path of earned income or the path of unearned income. In other words, you can work for money or let money work for you. Well, one path is well-worn and the other is largely undiscovered. The goal of this book is to get you on the positive, life-changing path to passive income as quickly as possible. Then this book introduces a very powerful tool, the money matrix, which tells you the story of how the rich get richer while the poor get poorer. It helps people identify whether they are consumers or investors. The stark difference between the two is the importance that they place on the 4 roles of money. Capital, money invested in anything expected to grow in value. Cash flow, which means money generated from those investments. 3. Cash, which means money held in reserve for security or for other future investments. The last one is consumption, which means money spent on anything that is not expected to grow in value. As you can see in this graph, investors build their financial lives on capital, while consumers build theirs on consumption. Investors see money as an opportunity to invest, while consumers see money primarily as an opportunity to spend. At the end of the day, it all boils down to a person's ability to prioritize investment over spending, to value capital more than consumption. Number 4, let's think about net worth. Believe it or not, and accept it or not, every day an undeclared game is being played out. It is a serious game of individual achievement with both winners and losers. Whether you realize it or not, you are a player in this game. It is the personal game of financial wealth building. Well, we all have heard about the Forbes magazine, which ranks the wealthiest people in the world. Well, what are their criteria? How do they rank it? It's not by annual income. Instead, they use net worth, which is the sum total of an individual's assets and liabilities. Then what we need to differentiate is the types of assets. There are appreciating assets and depreciating ones. For example, if you purchase a car, that's a depreciating asset, so your net worth goes down. On the contrary, if you invest in real estate, which is an appreciating asset, although you might have incurred debt, your net worth goes up. When only you think about net worth, it becomes very natural to think about real estate. Number 5, let's think about real estate. So this book discovers that our government wants people to think real estate. It wants you to own it. Actually, it needs you to own to do that. The economist Hernando de Soto observed the critical difference between successful capitalist societies and those that are not is their ability to create a wealth with private property, especially land and housing. Then this book unfolds a very powerful matrix, which is real estate is the most able investment vehicle. Number 1, it's accessible. Anyone can buy it. Number 2, it's appreciable. Over time, it increases in value. Number 3, it's leverageable, which means that you can buy on margin and borrow against equity. Number 4, it's rentable. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Number 5, it's improvable, basically, which means you can put sweat equity and improve your house. Number 6, we call it the 3D, which means deductible, depreciable, and deferrable. Well, it comes with a lot of, basically what it means is that housing, real estate, it comes with a lot of tax benefits. Well, this is a huge topic which I'm going to devote a separate episode to just cover this. Number 7, it's stable. Real estate is slow to rise, but also it's slow to fail. Quite different from stock market, right? And number 8, it's livable. It's a shelter in many ways more than one. And for the sake of time, I'm going to dive deep into only one of them. And for the rest, I highly recommend that you go through this book by yourself. And there are a lot of good examples and graphs over there to take a look to help you understand it as well. So the one I'm going to dive deep into is the one called It's Appreciable. Why? This book introduces 2 primary reasons, which is kind of new to me, or it just summarizes them very well. Number 1 is general inflation is going to drive up the replacement cost of housing. For example, like the general inflation is driving up the construction materials and the labor cost. Everything is going up, right? Thus, the value of all real estate is going up as well. Second, there is the influence of supply and demand. As the population increases, so does the demand for housing. Take the area where I'm living in, Silicon Valley, as an example. There are thousands, if not tens of thousands, I think it should be more than tens of thousands of people from all over the world coming into Silicon Valley. But the city hall is not issuing enough permits to build enough homes, plus the inventory is not good enough for the high increasing demand, right? That's number 5. Let's continue. Number 6 is think value, opportunity, and deals. Now it's time to practice. So this book encourages us to practice. The more you look at the properties, the more your sense of value becomes accurate and also internalized. The last thing we need to think about, number 7, is action. We need to think about action. We've talked a lot about thinking. Now it comes to action. Well, the reason most people won't achieve it is very simple. It's because they are wishful instead of willful in their thinking. Well, let's go take actions. That's all for this episode. In the next episode, we'll explore the second stage of becoming a real estate investor, which is buy a million. So if you enjoy this show, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Also, any comments and feedback, please leave them below. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much.